Let's say we take a raw material, like wood. Wood can be made into a house, a chair, a ship, or a table. The same material of wood can be actualized in many ways. What is it that turns wood into something that acts like a house? Aristotle says it's the form. This is where we get our notion of information. These things have become actualized by giving the potential of wood a specific form and shape so that it acts in a certain way. By seeing the potential of a thing, we can shape it into its fullest actuality. Plotinus lived in one of the most disastrous periods in Roman history, and in an age where unhappiness is so immediate. Happiness, if attainable, must be sought outside the impression of the senses. It is a happiness that must be derived from thought and imagination, and not from the everyday world. Plotinus takes the self-transcendent spirituality of Socrates and Plato and Aristotelian science, and he binds them together. He takes Aristotle's idea of knowing, and he merges it with Plato's vision of a spiritual ascent. Plotinus would say that wood is not pure potential because it already has the structural, functional organization of wood. It does not act like stone or water. But he felt that underneath wood, there must be pure potential which can receive the forms of things. He called this matter, which is very different from our modern conception. To Plotinus, matter had the potential to be transformed into anything. And he believed that matter reaches its fullest actuality by getting informed by something, by getting put in formation. At bottom, we have pure potential. This gets informed by something and it is organized into inorganic stuff. If we take inorganic stuff and we give it the right structural, functional organization, we get living things. I give living things a certain organization and it becomes something that can move itself. And if we take that self-moving capacity and we really organize it, we get the human mind. I can now take that mind, inform it, and turn that into a rational being who can understand the very forms of the world around him. Plotinus saw the act of knowing as a transformative process that changes the organization of our mind. He felt that our minds are realized in relationship to what we know. In Plato's allegory of the cave, we have the sun as a metaphor for the ultimate realization. In the same way, Plotinus felt that above this process, there must be an ultimate thing, which he called the One, or the source which contained the actual formal structures embedded within reality, waiting to be realized. A world of pure forms, structural, functional patterns which inform everything we see around us. It is above everything because it is the source of all actuality. At bottom, beneath everything, is the source of all potentiality. How we attune our mind in this worldview is very important. If my mind is chaotic and disorganized, then so is my life. As I go higher, my mind becomes more actualized and more rational in nature. It gains an increasingly intelligible structure. How I inform myself determines how I become actualized in the world. We cannot know pure potential. It is chaos. It has no form. To comprehend this, our mind would lose its organization and we would disappear. But Plotinus believed that if our mind could contemplate the ultimate form, we could be one with the force that makes everything actual and knowable. It is not only a rational ascent, but it is also a mystical transformation of the psyche. The fact that Plotinus organized this worldview into a hierarchy is very important. Most of us would agree that actuality is better than potentiality. Most of us would take actual love over potential love, actual wealth over potential wealth. Things become real to us when they take on a form that we can understand. Things become more beautiful to us as we begin to make sense of them. The endless potential of chaos fills us with fear. According to Plotinus, this is part of what makes up our conception of evil. Evil is so jarring because it is incomprehensible. It is a hole in being. It is a lack of form and actuality that our mind finds repellent. The One is the good, the most actual, the most intelligible. We can see that the transformation of the mind is a rational ascent away from evil and the chaos of potentiality into the realization of the ultimate way of being. After Plotinus, the world descends into chaos and evil. As we enter the final years of the Roman Empire, a situation very similar to the late Bronze Age collapse, which we discussed in video 2, is going to arise. It comes with enormous upheaval. the old ways of living will no longer be viable, and people will be forced to adapt to new ways of thinking. Around 400 AD, in this time of chaos and confusion, a man named Augustine comes along, a man who will have a large hand in building the medieval world. If you want to support the channel, head on over to our Patreon page and check out some of the awesome rewards we have for patrons. Bonus material, live chats, voting on which video you want to see next, and much more. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.